Hi everybody, it's Willow here from Willow Moon Mystical. Today I want to share with you as I am starting planning for Yule, and I wanted to create an altar cloth for Yule and or the winter solstice. And so I went to the Dollar Tree and all they had was these paper doilies. So I picked them up and I came home, and this was my prototype, and the middle was going to be a field of holly leaves and holly berries with some pine needle whiffs coming in. And then on the outside, I was watching this design, and this design to me looked like apples with these looking like pine cones. But then I put this long stem on a pine cone, and it put me more in the mind of a palm fan. So I'm not going to be doing this part, and neither am I going to be putting this big red part around it. So this was my prototype. It's okay, but I want to, like I said, it was a prototype, so I wanted to redo it. So when you get these, you get 8 of the small, and then the medium, then the large, then the extra large of these doilies. You get there's 4 sizes, 8 of each. So the one I'm using is the 12-inch one, and so I chose that one, and here it is. Let me take this one off. So here it is. So I went in and I just drew in some holly leaves, and I drew in some holly berries, and then that's where I left it. And then going around, I was looking at it, and I think here it is. This one here, you can see just little traces of where this looks like an apple, and here I'm going to put a leaf, and here I'm going to put a stem. So then these are going to be apples. Now I'm going to still use these as pine cones, but I'm not going to paint this to look like a stem going up to the pine cone, because to me that made it look more like a palm fan than a pine cone. Now I don't expect to get this done in one video, so I may have to do a few. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on going in and just laying down the pigment on these leaves and on these berries, and then we'll see where it goes from there. So I have my water here, and the brushes I'm using today is a 0 and a 10, and they both are rounds. And then I'm just using my basic little palette. I got this from Michael's. It's got 28 different colors. I use these a lot for a lot of different things. I use them for when I do the fabric doilies. I use them for just regular watercolors when I'm doing my book of shadow pages and stuff. So I just really like these little palettes that I can take with me, and just use wherever I wish to use them. So right now I'm going to get the green going, and I'm just going to trace these in. Now remember, this don't have to be perfect. That's one thing I had to learn to break myself on, is being a perfectionist, because I get aggravated if everything didn't, turn out absolutely perfect. And then I get aggravated, then I would quit, then I would cheat myself out of a lot of the beautiful things I wanted to create. Just because it's not perfect doesn't mean it is not beautiful. So I'm just filling in. If you hear outside voices or bird sounds or animal sounds, that's because I'm outside taping. I always tape out back on my lanai, and I am in Florida, and I know the rest of the country is really, really freezing, but to be in Florida, I have to tell you, it is quite chilly today. But at least it's not as cold as when I had lived in Ohio. Okay, so as you can see, now this little brush is really going to take me some time, so I think I'm going to need to move up to the bigger round. Yeah, so I'm going to move up to the bigger round, and this one will pick up a lot more pigment. So let's see what we can get here. There we go. And remember, these don't have to be perfect because leaves in nature are not perfect either. You just want to get that color down. Now what I may do is after I get the initial pigment down and I get the whole thing pretty well painted, I might go back in and sharpen it up with some watercolor pencils. Which is oftentimes something that I find I will do when using watercolors, because I just can't. I'm not an artist. I am just a novice who likes watercolors to use them, but I have to get results and get the results I am trying to get in different ways. And I was introduced to watercolor pencils, and I found out that they gave me the flexibility to go back in and sharpen up my edges and to do a little bit of different highlights. And I can use them as a colored pencil, or I can take them then and add water and use them as watercolor paint. So I am just going to get this color in here. That is just my main purpose right now. Go. See where I wear a line there? That's okay, because I can bring that back in, and that's what I was telling about the pencils, where it's going to allow me to sharpen those edges up. So my little palette here cost me $5 from Michael's, so I'm not afraid to really use the pigment, because I can always just pick another one of these up, as it would be going out and spending a small fortune on quality watercolors like Winsor Newton. My husband uses those. He is an artist and he uses those. But me, I just use Artist Loft. Because I am not a serious watercolor painter or artist. So the summer solstice is the longest night of the year. It is when we welcome in the beginning of winter, of darker days. It is when we welcome in the longer nights and the shorter days. It's the shortest day of the year, making it the longest night of the year. And my altar is more traditional. I have some hand-carved wizard figurines and tree spirit figurines that my husband had carved for me that I use on my Yule altar year after year. And of course, this year I have some large pine cones, where in the past I had small pine cones due to the fact I didn't have large ones in Ohio. But here, just on the outside of my shop in Homosassa, I are a couple of really nice pine trees, which bless me with the larger pine cones. And it ends so much that I was able to gather some and give them out to other people who visit my store. I saved them before they were squished in the parking lot. And so I blessed other people with them because, yeah, you know, they're just like me. They would go to get pine cones and they would be all squished or ruined from rain or other people stepping on them. So I gathered those early in the morning and I had them in the shop, and I just, you know, and I had acorns too. I collected acorns and I was just giving them out to anyone who wanted to get them a little goodie bag together. And they went really quick. I was really surprised. But I shouldn't have been. We all like gifts from Mother Nature. Okay, I'm going back over this one and just bringing in a little bit more of that color. This is exciting to see how this process is all going to go down. So I've got all those colors in, so I'm going to clean this brush out and lay it down. And now I am going to move on to the red, as I want to start filling in the holly berries. These ones are, and I'm not going to worry about making perfect circles because that's not going to happen for me. I am just going to concentrate on getting it mostly round and filled in with a beautiful depth of that red. It's absolutely beautiful. But I like to make a lot of my own things for my altars for different Sabbats. If you remember, for Samhain, we created a black mirror out of a picture frame for divination, and then we painted an altar cloth in the colors of fall that had leaf designs in it. Now that one was a cloth dually, so I will be able to use that one for a few years, and it turned out to look kind of like tie-dye because we done it in watercolors. I absolutely loved it, and I enjoyed it on my altar this year for Samhain when I done the spell Samhain Blessings to honor my ancestors. And there was 2 of them that came in that pack, and because they got leaves, I'm saving the other one because then I'm going to do it in spring colors for in bulk. And I'll probably do a video on that one too. But I couldn't find any cloth doilies that I could, you know, white, just plain white ones that I could, that were made of polyester that I could create one with. But I came across these while looking at the Dollar Tree, and you know, they are cloth, but they are paper, but they're a pretty decent paper. I was really kind of, you know, shocked there because it's hooked up to watercolor pigment. So I am, like I said, if you hear outside voices and stuff, it's because I am outside. So, like I said, please don't worry about them being perfectly round, or even if you see pencil coming through. You're going to enjoy the fact of seeing this on your altar just because you created it yourself. That is the amazement of it. So, this will be my second Yule in Florida, as we've been here a year now, and we are transitioning pretty nicely. I have to admit, I miss a lot of things from back home, especially my sisters, from the Sisters of the Sacred Circle. That was our circle we had there. You know, I miss them. I miss the gatherings that we would have. But, you know, I'm meeting new witches and new spiritual practitioners here, and I'm enjoying that as well. Look at how pretty those are coming together. Now I'm going to leave the background white to represent the snow of the you know, the color of snow for this time of year, and the frost on the windows. Of course, I won't get snow here in Florida, but back home they've already started having frost on the windows and snow and a little ice. So I'm going to leave that white to represent the seasons back home. I'm going to put another one here. And remember, mistletoe, holly doesn't have only just 3 little berries. It has several. So follow your instincts. If you believe an extra berry needs to be there, then put one there. Okay, so now I'm going to go back with, I'll bring in some brown to put the stems on those while those leaves are still drying. I made that look pretty graceful, didn't I? Ah, first time ever. That's not normally, for me, they always seems to be whiter at the top than they are at the bottom. I'm really trying to lift my brush as I go up to give it that thinner line. So start at the bottom and go up. Don't start up here and go down. Now see, that one got a little thicker. I spoke too soon, but that's okay. Beautiful. So like I said, I have a more traditional altar. I will have some greenery on it, even though it will probably be artificial. And I have some pine cones, some large ones like this. And what I was thinking about is taking a little bit of like that real pretty silverish glitter. You know, it's clear with glitter in it, fingernail polish, and just touch on the edges. I might do that. I have a couple more of these at the shop I'm going to be bringing home. And I'm going to use those on my altar as well. And then, of course, like I said, the tree guardians. See, now I'm going from the top down, and I'm actually kind of amazed that worked for me. Okay, now I got the one in. Look at this. See where I, yeah, did that. But that's okay, you know. From everything else that's going on here, that is not going to be an issue. Okay, so now I have those in. Now, I think with my, I am going to take the pencil after I'm finished painting this and go around and put those in. But I think for now, I do want to go back to some green. And I want to put in a little bit of pine needles with these here. So let's see how I can do that. And they might go over, but that's okay if they do. I like that, yes. A little thicker, but that's okay. Like I said, I am not expecting this to be perfect. I'm just expecting it to reflect me and what I want on my altar. Oops, I'll have to go, I think I'll probably go in. I didn't want it to do that. I gotta think about that. It's okay. That is okay. You know what? I think I can fix that. So I am gonna go in. Remember Bob Ross, how Bob Ross used to say happy trees? Yeah, well, what am I gonna call that? Happy pine needle? That's kind of funny. See if I can get this down to a point. There we go. Now let's see if I can't touch that up a little bit. I think that might have done it. There we go. So I'm going to put, because pine needles do turn brown. And I think that just might offset that enough. Yes, I really like that. So I guess I can say happy pine needle after all. There's a couple of them over here. Yeah, I can. So you can see how this can come, what you can do to bring it together. And it's nowhere near perfect, but I am so happy with that. Now, I was wondering about, I can take them, no, I was going to say I can take them pencils and go in and put in the veins and stuff into my, I'm going to try this. Let's see. Steady hand now. Best I can. Yes. That is bringing more into it, I think. I really like that. So I'm putting the veins in into brown, because there is a lot of brown in nature at Christmas, as it is the winter months. Ooh, I got that a little bit too thick. That's okay. Like I said, I had to learn not that it's okay for it not to be perfect. And when I did that, because I've always loved watercolors, but I gave up on it, and I try and give up and try and give up so many times because I couldn't do it perfect. And then once I gave up on that, once I realized it's okay if it's not perfect, then I really started really getting in and enjoying just doing. There. I'm really happy with that there. Now I think I'm going to clean this brush. And by this time, I'm going to have to stop this video because it will have to go on to another one because it will run over. So I'm going to take a little bit of white. And what I want to do is I just want to give a little, not a big one, just to highlight those berries a little bit if I can. And then I think my field of holly, mistletoe, holly, I think it's holly, yeah, it's holly. Get these up here. All right, I think that my field is pretty well complete. Now, like I said, I want to go back in with, let me clean this. I want to go back in with, excuse me, I am just getting over sinuses. I want to go back in with my watercolor pencils, and we'll do that after this is completed to define these edges and bring more definition into this. But hey, you know, if you're going to create your own Yule altar this year, this is a good point, a good idea of where you can begin. And like I said, you can pick these up at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. You can get eight of 4 different sizes. So this is actually you get 34 of them. So if you goof up once, that's okay. You can keep going until you get something that you really do like. So thanks you for joining me. Watch for the next video, and blessed be.